examples of it in some ways. You have seen how to utilize it in the ways that it should be utilized instead of just recreational. Now, the reason why some people have bad trips is manyfold. First of all, they're in bad company, they're around bad energy, they're in a negative area, they're not even sure of what they're doing. You have to be educated about what you're doing before you can use LSD. You cannot just use it and expect it to be a good thing. You have to understand it. You have to be in the process of knowing what you are doing. And if you do not know what you are doing, then it can be very dangerous for you in some ways. You can actually believe things that are there. You can see into this next dimension, but this next dimension, there's a cliff there, or there's a cliff in your dimension, but it's not in their dimension, and you can go over it. So the thing is, you have to understand that the mind is programmed by the what you believe. The mind is programmed also by the thoughts that you are taking into the LSD trip, if that's what you want to call it. It's also about what you are wanting to perceive. All these different things are important. And it's best to do this with somebody that you care about, that you have a good relationships with, and it will help you to have a better establishment of what is happening, especially if there's intentions with it. So it's always best to have intentions beforehand. Any other questions?
Let me just check and see if there's any other questions. Kathy has a question.
Yes.
Hello. This is a fascinating subject that I really have no education on at all. So in relations to the LSD, do mushrooms and that sort of thing work the same way, or is it just LSD that works?
There are
like
different, you have to understand that LSD is a made up substance. It's not a natural substance in the earth. It was made, and so it's a pseudo substance. So what it is that you need to look at is mushrooms are more natural, marijuana more natural. These are natural things, whereas the LSD is actually a chemical. So you use them differently.
So do the natural remedies give the same effect?
They can, with the same kind of impulse, but you don't get to the same places with a mushroom as you do with LSD, because LSD works on the parts of the brains that are more visual, and I know mushrooms are as well, and so is the marijuana. You get the high feeling, you get the visionary feeling, and it's more natural, and you can go to a more natural place with the mushrooms. With the LSD, it's more like a medicine. You can use it more like a medicine. Whereas mushrooms and marijuana are not necessarily very medically sound, except for vision for the marijuana. And you can put intentions on your mushroom use and it can bring you to a place of otherworldly realizations and bring it into another dimension. But it's not the same values when it comes to what you actually perceive. It's a different value system of perception.
Interesting. Thank you.
Yes, I don't know how to explain it properly. It's been a while since I've talked about this. All right.
You did wonderful. Thank you.
Okay, there's a question from Safira. Go ahead, Safira.
Hello.
Greetings.
So somebody I know is using microdosing of mushrooms, and she does it, I think, once every 3 or 4 days, and then she was advised how to use it. My question is this: if for her it's not psychoactive, it's more brings her into a deeper understanding of herself or things around her. But my question is, how long can somebody do that? Is it indefinite? Is there a health
Yes.
effect after a while?
It's actually, if you're doing it in a um, responsible way, you can do it indefinitely and it can be very helpful. It's
Uh-huh.
not something that is, uh, if you're doing it every 2 days with the intention of feeling better, having greater health, it's not that addictive. It's more, I want to feel healthy, I want to be this way, and it's not like I have to have my shrooms. It's more like I want to get into a greater thought process, even out my thought processes, get into a better state of health, and this will help you with that. And it is a good thing. And it is controlled. If you're using it as a controlled substance, it is a controlled substance.
Well, the thing is that, I mean, for this particular person, I'm sure others, it makes her feel really good.
Of
Uh,
course.
I could see where that person would want to be constantly in that state, and that might be not so good as far as dealing with other realities that are harsher, like work or things like
No,
that.
let me tell you this. If they decide not to use it in a controlled situation, then it becomes an abuse. It becomes something that if they want and need it all the time, then they have to look at what they're really using it for. Are they using it to feel good, or are they using it for better health? That's a different kind of feel good.
Okay. And I have one last question. Somebody like me, for example, I'm a bit older, and I get a little bit afraid when I feel like I'm losing control of a situation, or if I'm trying to go out of body, for example, and I'm losing that control. So something like microdosing, um, is that something that somebody who has afraid of control issues shouldn't do?
Yes, microdosing only does a very small. It's not like you're getting really high. It's not like that. It's that
Mhm,
you are definitely feeling altered a little bit, but
mhm,
not a great deal. It's a microdosing is to bring your thought processes and your body into alignment according to the intentions that you have. And you may not even know how to do that, but your body understands what is happening with the intention. And also with you wanting to feel better, with you wanting to align with your emotions,
mhm,
align with your uh, physicality. Because remember, sometimes people are out of alignment with everything. Their mind, body, soul, and spirit, it's just totally out of alignment. They're confused about many things. They're they have great pain in the body. That pain in the body takes everything out of alignment for sure. So using the microdose to put yourself back into an alignment may be the very first thing you want to do, is to bring the pain down, to bring everything into a positive thought process, to bring everything into a uniform way of thinking, so that your mind, body, soul, and spirit are aligned again, because the pain is taking them out, taking you out of alignment, and you want to get everything back into alignment.
Thank you so much. Can you just quickly please comment to your knowledge about white gold and DMT, if they have the same ultimate effects as microdosing?
Um, I'm not sure of what those are.
Oh, okay. All right.
I think those came after me, or they have a different name than what they had in my era.
Mhm.
But the thing is, any kind of microdosing with the right intention, I would think would be able to be helpful. But I would have to look at the substance, what it is.
Okay.
Have to look at that
All right.
substance, see what that substance actually does. You see, I studied LSD, so I know what it actually does and what it's made of, and I've used it myself, so I know the experience of it. But of course, I have to tell you this too, is that the experience is different with each individual that
Mhm.
uses it, because everyone's brain makeup is a slightly different thing, and their belief systems are different, and their thought process and patterns are different. So it will go into the brain the same as it goes into every brain, but what is initiated by that substance is different in every person to some degree.
Thank you so much. Appreciate your help.
Thank you. Sharon, you had another question? Sharon?
I saw in your Wikipedia page that you wrote to Steve Jobs to see if he will help you to, let's see here, you ask of him.
Steve Jobs?
Yeah, that you wrote to him in order to, so he will support you in your research of, furthering your research on LSD, and it doesn't specify if he ever wrote you back or if there was anything came out of that. Can you tell us if he wrote back?
Yes. Of course, that's sort of an entertaining question. I wrote to Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs is a very spiritually oriented person. I don't know if anybody knows that, but Steve Jobs was very spiritual, very enlightened in many, many senses. And that's why I wrote to him, because I knew that he had some thought processes about mind-altering substances. And he had great ideas that came from out of the blue, just as some of my ideas about what's happening with certain different things with the LSD happened with me. So I sort of shared with him some of the things that were happening with me and what I was discovering and the medical uses. And he was interested. But he was afraid to support me for fear that information would get out and it would change his people's view of him. So we had some interaction. We talked on the phone, and we talked once in person for a brief period of time. He really didn't want to be seen with me, but because other people knew who I was. But he was more worried about his reputation, but not really worried about LSD in general, because of what I wrote to him. It was very informative, and he was actually supportive of it. So, but he just didn't want to support it in any way that would be able to be traced. So he did support it, but not in a traceable manner.
Is there something that you can tell us about LSD that is not yet known and will be known or should be known by you right now?
Let me think. I know that, well, actually, it's very healthy if done properly, but this is something everyone should know. It's not healthy for everyone. I've discovered that there are some brain types that react badly with it and will always react badly with it. But the thing is, you wouldn't know that until you actually tried it. But I would only try it in a micro dose anyway, so that the reaction would be minor. But that is something that I don't think that was very clear when in my studies. But there are some brains that just will never have a positive reaction to it. It's a very small percent of the population, but it is a population, a part of the population where they just cannot believe properly in the reaction of this particular chemical to let it work positively for them.
You know, it's interesting because I had the same thought that popped to me several times about how recently, in recent years, scientists discovered that different people process different food in a different kind of way, and it kind of changed the way that they see diet, that each individual have something else that is working out for him, for his digestive system.
Correct.
So and each person has a different blood type, etc. Do you think that in the future people were able to give you a diagnosis, tell you, well, this is the type of brain that you have, that people have different kind of brains that react differently, and
Well, I found out that there are ways that certain people can, and this is futuristic, of course. I'm not talking about this day and age that you're living in, but there are certain species that can put you into a machine and decide what kind of body type, blood type, all these things, and exactly what kind of diet you can have or should have. And they print this out for you, and then you're on your own. You have to follow it or not follow it. So I believe that will be part of your future as well, that they will be able to determine each individual's specific needs and for at least several year period. Now, let me say this, it doesn't last forever. That particular diet that they give you on this date may not be the same diet that they would get for you 5 years later. It may change in some ways because you are changing physically and mentally all the time. So therefore, every 5 years, you would have to get this done, and it would bring it back into some kind of greater alignment. But it would be in somewhat of alignment for at least 5 years, I'm sure. But as your body changes, the mind changes, so does the reactions of these chemicals, so does the food reactions in your body. When you were younger, you could eat anything and nothing bothered you. But as you get older, you have limitations. This bothers me, that bothers me. It is the same with everyone. So as time goes on, your dietary regulation changes, your dietary needs change. So you have to keep up with it and know what's happening with your body and with your thought process. Now, with psychotropic drugs such as LSD, you can uh, change your dosages. Your microdose is fine, 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 and then all of a sudden it's not fine, or it doesn't seem to be working as well. So you readjust it, and sometimes that may take a few times to find the proper readjustment, but it will be readjusted. And if it's not necessarily that it has to go up, sometimes the dosage has to go down. So, but you have to know your body and know what is going on with it. So if you have certain things that are coming into your thought process, so it's like, all right, now I'm getting a lot of pain in my side, or I have a lot of back pain. You may want to adjust your dosages to address that, and also address it in your intentions and address it in your belief system.
thank you. Also, my brother asks if in your opinion there's going to be another substance that will be discovered on Earth just like LSD, or is it in the making? And what do you think about Alexander Shulgin research?
I believe there probably will be drugs similar to LSD that will be used for medicine. I'm not sure that they even use LSD very often in medication at all. There is some use in it in the psychiatric field for they're testing it for certain psychiatric properties. But I think it's more medical, it's more for the body than and the mind, of course, because it's telling the mind that the body can be healed. So it's both medical and psychotropic and mental. But yes, there are other things that will probably come from this. They'll take it, the LSD, they'll alter it, they'll make it more usable. I'm sure that I was at the very beginning of the understanding of it, but I was able to use it in a way that it helped me and it helped many others. So I know that there will be other drugs coming. Yes. All right.
Was that all? Was that all, Cher?
Well, I've sort of missed the question probably. These other drugs that you're talking about are not being used properly yet either. There's still a lot of experimenting to do with these kinds of drugs, and rightfully so. You want to be as safe as possible with these. You don't want to just go out and start using them. You want to be understanding of how they can be used. You want to be understanding of the principle of it, the understanding, the become educated with it.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Education is important. You don't want to just go out and start using psychotropic drugs. I had to be the guinea pig in some ways, in all ways, actually. And with that came a big responsibility. I had to make sure that others that I was talking to about this drug used it properly as well. It was never intended to be used as a recreational drug. I mean, not really. It turned out that it could be used that way, but the thing is, it's not the healthiest way to use it, and so I had to uh, write about it that way.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, I was just looking to see if there's any other questions. I didn't see any other questions for you.
Very well, that is fine. I've
Okay.
probably educated you enough. You're bored stiff with it,
No,
but
not at all.
it's all right. I will bring someone else through that wants to speak. It was good speaking to you. I want to finish with this.
Hmm.
Please be careful when using any drugs whatsoever. Understand what they do, understand how they work. Remember, it is not safe just to go out and use a drug just for fun. You should be a little bit educated about what they do, how to respond to it, what kinds of effects this drug will give you so that you're not surprised. So some people use a drug for the first time because someone said, here, try this. And they have a very bad trip. And that I put that in quotation marks because I really don't like to call them trips. But they have a bad experience.
Hmm.
So they don't understand why everybody else is having a good time, but they are not educated to what it can do and what it cannot do. So they're thinking it will do this, and it has done something different. So their belief system is not aligned with what they are taking. So please be educated.
Okay. Do you have any, I'll just ask one question if you don't mind.
Yes.
Do you have any comments about the fact that LSD is a manufactured substance versus, say, mushrooms, which are
Yes.
not manufactured? And also, too, on the shamanic approach to the medicine, you could call it, to the earth medicine,
Yes.
what should be your approach on a spiritual level as far as honoring it as opposed to taking it and just seeing what happens? There's a much different relationship, isn't there?
Well, psychotropic drugs have been used all through history for finding your path or journeys, quests, and all these different kinds of things that they have used it for in the past. But remember this, after a time, they are very educated what it can and cannot do within their tribe, within their peoples, within what they are planning to do with it. And actually, it is they made it to be used in a very positive way. They did not make it to be used as a just a drug that gets you high. They made it to be used as an eye-opening experience. They made it to be used as a quest, a journey. They made it to be used as greater information for their peoples. So yes, uh, the natural elements, such as the mushroom, as you spoke of, can be used for these kinds of journeys and quests. Natural substances, there's so many. I'm not even going to go into all of them, but the ayahuasca and all these different things that you journey with, that you understand. You must go into them understanding and knowing what you are doing with them. All right. And yes, they do cleanse the system in some ways. So it's very interesting that uh, some of these drugs like ayahuasca will cleanse the system so that you have a greater clearer trip, a clearer experience, a clearer journey, a clearer quest if you go into this. So yes, natural drugs probably are better than the ones that are manufactured. But let me tell you this. LSD is a manufactured drug made for medicinal purposes in my opinion. So it is a drug that can help with mental illness. It can help with you being more healthy. It can be with you being more aligned with all the things in your world, because if you intend it and bring it into that use and are seeing those benefits, then you need to continue to do that. As you see, I lived to a very old age and
Yes.
I was very happy and healthy for the most part. There are some things that LSD cannot heal. There are some things that no drug can heal. So death is part of life, and life, when you are born to eventually die. But in the meantime, that's the important part. All the things in between life and death are what are important. So this helps you with a very better quality of life, with a better understanding of who you are, with a better outlook on the world in some ways, but not by having a trip every day. But microdosing is a very positive thing, and it's not something to do every day. Every few days, every as prescribed, is enough.
Okay, thank you very much for your conversation and your sharing your knowledge with us. It's been very helpful for many people, I'm sure.
Yes, it's strange to be talking about this with a group of people. I mean, especially when I'm not here on the earth, but it is a, a sort of refreshing.
Great. Thank you. Well, I don't believe that we have any other questions, so
Very good.
it's been a
Well,
great
it was
pleasure
nice
talking
meeting
to
you again.
Yes, thank you.
Have some soup on my behalf.
Um,
Very well. Much love to you all.
much love to you.
I am Melchizedek.
Welcome. You were requested by Yana, so I will allow Yana to ask your question.
Greetings.
Thank
What
you.
is it that you require from me?
Blessings, and thank you for coming. Um, uh, I had an initiation in Egypt in the Melchizedek consciousness, and there was also told to me in a session that there's Melchizedek consciousness around me to work with me. I don't have exactly clear what the Melchizedek consciousness is exactly. Is that for Melchizedek itself, or is this a group consciousness or group effort? Can you explain, please?
Yes. I was actually the first priest in the Bible.
Hmm.
I preceded every priest known to man. And therefore they put me on the same level as Jesus because I was the same kind of consciousness as Jesus was, except more um, dealing with the great minds of the time, the great beings, Abraham especially, and with those that are teachers and those that are doers of the will of God. And so, therefore, if I am working with you, which I am, it means that you have a mission with God. It means that your mission is God centered in many ways, and that there is information coming from you that is necessary for the world to hear.
Mhm.
I baptized Abraham. And so, therefore, the first beginnings of godlike activities were happening back then. But I brought an organizational thought process to it. It wasn't just that I was there, but I required people to understand who God was, and I required man to worship God and to pray to God and to be part of his miraculous world.
Mm. Thank you. Can you tell me, please, what is the connection to Egypt?
Egypt, I've been reincarnated more than once, and so I was there. So that explains something. I won't tell you who I was, it doesn't matter.
Mhm.
But I was someone of notoriety there, and I was someone that was a teacher there. And therefore, I am connected throughout history to many of the priests that lived.
Mm. Is it because I was connected to temples there as myself that I?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the connection. Okay, now I understand better. Thank you. So, in what way could I connect to you um, to bring your message more into this world, or to work with you, your energies?
You are just have to allow it. I will work through you. You've already received much information from me, and you may not even be aware of that.
Mhm.
But my consciousness is around you. And so, as my consciousness is around you, you will bring it in at the right time and understand it.
Mm. So, would it be possible for me to engage with you in a more channeling-like fashion? So, to bring in information in word?
Certainly.
Okay, I will do that gladly. Thank you so much for
You are
coming in.
welcome. And it will happen. There are those here that do not know who I am, but I am mentioned early in the Bible, and not much really. I am not really not mentioned in the Bible very much, just to say that I had baptized Abraham, but
Mhm.
that I was the first priest is what is brought forward. This is actually important to this day and age for some reasons, because the priesthood is what many of you priestesses, priests, you are. And so, therefore, um, you are experiencing these things. I want to be rather general because each and every one of you have to know me in your own way.
Fine. Thank you so much for coming.
You're
Yes.
welcome.
Okay, there's a question. I'm going to start with Michelle. Go ahead, Michelle.
Greetings. Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you are in a cat, excuse me, in a cat named Sultan, and for what reason would you give part of yourself to be in an animal? If you in fact are, I got that either it was you or Brahma in this cat named Sultan. I've been doing an animal communication course, and that's what came to me.
Whenever we enter animals, we don't stay there. It is not that we are permanently within an animal body. There is some reasons to come into an animal body, but we also then leave. There is perceptions with the animals that they must send to human beings, and this is what this perception is about. So if you've sensed us in an animal, which is possible, then we leave them within a certain amount of time. We cannot stay there because there are more important things, more important communications to make in the world, and more important connections to mankind. So yes, we can enter an animal. Even Jesus entered an animal. God entered animals as well to speak to people. And with that, you can tell that we do not stay there. We come in, we do a piece of work, and we go.
So, so were you in Sultan, the cat?
Yes,
Could you
for
tell me,
a brief
please?
time.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Any other questions? Hello?
Thank you. Someone unmuted me. Please, the next person is Lily Pad. Go ahead, Lily Pad.
Hello.
Okay.
Yes, I was not. That was quick. Thank you. I just like to know. I like to ask if you can. If you will be able to scan my body. I don't know if you can do that. I think I have this. If you can tell me if there's something wrong with my kidney, and if so,
I cannot scan the body from here. I am in spirit, so I am not able to do that. Perhaps an alien vessel can do that, but unfortunately, I cannot.
Okay. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. There's a question from Kathy. Go ahead. Oh, no, excuse me. Is that? No, it's not Kathy. Go ahead, Safira.
Thank you. Hello, Melchizedek.
Greetings.
I have a question about the priesthood of the Order of Melchizedek, which is, I'm sure you know, it's all around the world, an organization which claims to give the priesthood to different people who accomplish certain tasks. I never quite understood it, but also, how is it different from, well, first, can you explain that order? Is it established by you? That's the first question. The second question would be, how is it different from other serious Christian missions or other religious missions that are also serious?
It is not established by me, but by man.
Mhm.
So I do not know what all their proofs and all their doctrine is. But anything that furthers the word of God, furthers an understanding of who God is, that is a good thing. And it is no different than other Christian organizations that do the same thing. If it brings you closer to God, then therefore it is a positive and worthwhile mission.
Okay, well, the James, who you are channeling through, was given that priestly order, a priestly title of your order through someone, and it just wasn't clear what it's for exactly. I mean, you did explain.
Actually,
Yeah.
from what I've understood from the ceremony and the things that happened, it is for them to be able to do baptisms and marriages and things that would be helpful to other people that don't want to go to strictly organized religions, but to someone that has appropriate belief system that they can believe in as well. So, and it would be more personal.
Mhm.
So, as speaking for that, I do not know all the things that they have to do for that to get that honor, but I do know that it is something they take seriously and something that is very precious to them.
Mhm. Okay, but it's not something that you told somebody to establish.
Not really, no.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Mankind establishes things for their own reasons.
Okay,
Well,
thank you.
there was no one that said, let's take Jesus and make a religion out of it. There was no one that said, let's take Mohammed and make a religion out of it. That was mankind. Mankind did these things and created their own rules and regulations for it. They saw
Okay.
what the man did. They saw what these men did. And they believed in what they did so much that they wanted to proliferate it. So man does this. They rise people up. Not that it's not a good thing in some ways, but it is also can be very manipulative as well. So try not to fall into the fear portions of religion. Try not to fall into what's wrong with the world, but everything that's right with humanity. Love, compassion, beauty. All these things should be proliferated instead of the fear. You can't do this, you can't do that. Because that's not where God is in these religions, nor in anything that I would say set out to do. I would not cause people to be afraid or to be stifled by a religion or a belief, but to be
If some,
given the opportunity to express themselves and to be who they are in this world.
thank you. If somebody was praying to you and asking you, if let's say they couldn't believe in God or they couldn't feel God, and if they would call to you and say, "Can you help me?" Like, what kind of things can humans ask of you?
Well, yes, I can be an intercessor. That's what that would be, calling on me to get to God. Intercessory prayer is all right, but do not worship me because I am not God. The thing is, yes, I'm connected to God. I was on the earth and I was the physical being that was there is connected to God, but I am not there. I'm only there to represent God, not to be God. So you can call on me as an intercessor and say, please help me to understand God or get me closer to God. But he really wants to speak to you himself. He really wants to be a part of your life as as a personality. Now you say God has many, many facets to his personality, and that is true. And so do I, and so do you, and so does everyone. But if you find peace in calling on someone else to help you to get your prayers to God, to carry your light to him, that's fine. Just don't pray that we are gods.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay. Okay. Ah, Sorry. Cher had a question. Go ahead, Cher.
Greetings.
Greetings.
Is there something that you can tell us about Jerusalem that is not known, or something that will be discovered there? Because it's still a very mysterious place. There's a lot to be uncovered there.
There is many things in Jerusalem that are sacred. The thing that is not uncovered yet in some ways is that it is the center of all religions, not just one or two, but all religions will be centered around that area at some point, because it is the birthplace of everything in some respects.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. That was the only questions I had for you.
Excellent. All right. I think there is time for someone else.
Yes. Thank you so
One
much,
moment.
Melchizedek.
Yes. Blessings to you all.
Mm.
Greetings. I am Uriel.
Welcome, Uriel. I think I know someone who wants to talk to you.
All right.
Michelle, do you have a question for Uriel?
Yes, I
Greetings,
do.
Michelle.
Hi, Uriel.
Greetings.
How are you?
I am well.
Thanks for coming through. Good. I have a question about, all the what's going on the planet. Would you say, from your perspective, is it more like a smokescreen, with the virus and the unrest and everything? Is it a smokescreen for the financial reset from your perspective?
There is many different things going on at your planet all at once, and not very much of it is being reported truthfully, and not very much of it is coming through as how it should. So there is many smoke screens from many different directions, but it is not just in your world, but all around the world. Now, there is a financial reset coming, and that is been known for a while, but it is not coming quite yet because they're not ready to reestablish the world quite yet. But give it time. But let me tell you this, in the meantime, many, many more things will happen. Much more smoke will be blown into your face to cover your eyes and cover your understanding. No one will know what is going on for true. And that is the same as now. The truth cannot be revealed yet because God has not revealed it.
Thank you. And finally, could you give us a blessing, please?
Of course.
To help us through this current situation. Thank you.
Yes, one moment, please.
Thank you.
God, Mother, Father, God, creator of all things, creator of universes and many, many multiple things. Be with us now and grant that your power and energy comes into each and every one of these people, that they may move forward in a very powerful way to bring truth to the world. Break through all the falsehoods, break through all the negativity, break through what it is that cannot be changed by man, because you are God and are able to change it. We pray that the cabal is destroyed. We pray that they are come into their judgment in the times to come. We pray that all things imprisoning the earth will be broken and the freedom will come. We know that this will come eventually, but make it sooner rather than later. We love you, God. We give you our hearts. We give you our prayers. We give you all the things that you need to work within us. And we thank you for prosperity. We thank you for your love and compassion. We thank you for your guidance, strength, and courage. There is so much happening now. We just pray that you are with us each and every day. Lift us out of the depression. Lift us out of the negativity. Lift us out of all those things that would keep the word of God from us, keep God-like thoughts from us, but bring them straight in. Bring us to that path. Bring us to that light. May you be with us in every way. We give you glory and praise. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Was there any other? Were you finished, Michelle?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Yes. Okay.
Yes,
Oh,
thank you. Thank you.
okay. Perfect. You're happy. I could see. Okay. There's a question from J-Lo. Go ahead, J-Lo.
J-Lo,
Hello, Uriel.
greetings.
Uriel, I have two questions. The first being Moldavite. What can you share with us about Moldavite?
Moldavite is not something that is actually a part of your world naturally. So it is from an outer place. What is helpful about Moldavite is that it brings energies from outer realms to your realm. And this is beautiful. And what I would say is Tektite and Moldavite, these are very similar there, except for just small differences, but they are helpful in creating an otherworldly thought process, creating an energy of bringing in from the outside. And I see that is something that is very precious to you and something that is close to your heart.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And lastly, I'm sure I'm not the only one who feels this from time to time, but I've been curious because every now and then I will experience certain fluctuations in my emotionally, energetically.
Of course.
And sometimes I find myself staring off into space and thinking about why is it that I feel this way? Almost as if just being human feels odd. It feels interesting. But I was wondering if, and I was wondering if I'm making certain connections to other planets, other forms of life, etc. It's just a curiosity. Thank you.
Yes, humans can do that. You are making connections to the world outside, making connections to spirits, worlds, aliens, energies. These connections are helpful to you because they're recharging your human battery in some ways. You are one that believes in many different things that are amazing and beautiful and that can come about and will come about in the future. So these things are just part of your nature naturally. And I thank you for being that way. And you can be used in a greater way because of your feeling this way. But let them pull you out of your depression. Let them pull you out of negativity or whatever it is, because you are actually part of what is out here. They are already looking at you as part of this outside realm.
Thank you so much, and God bless us all. Thank you.
Yes. God bless you.
Okay, there's a question from Julianne. Julianne, do you want to ask the question or do you want to have me ask the question?
Hi, Uriel. I can ask the
Greetings.
question. Greetings. Yeah. Well, I've been experiencing so much headache, and I feel like my head is expanding, and I don't know what's that all about.
Is this something recent?
Yeah, it was recent.
How long has it been going on?
Uh it's probably like 2 days already.
2 days, and you have a
Uh,
bad headache?
it's not that bad, but it was like it's like my head was like being expanding or something. I can.
There are reasons for this. You are probably coming into a growing phase with spirituality or whatever it is you're trying to learn and experience. So I would pray that the headache portion goes away and the expansion of the brain continues. Is there a way that it is relieved, or is there any particular thing that you are trying to attain?
Uh yes, that's probably why.
All right. Allow whatever it is to come in, but tell them not to hurt your head. Come in a little slower. Come in a little less furiously, because what is happening is they're overwhelming the brain. They're overwhelming the spirit and overwhelming everything and taking it out of alignment a little bit. You need to stay in that alignment. So help them to bring the physical, the spiritual, the mental all back in into that alignment, the emotional. And are you experiencing any emotional feelings that are unusual?
Yes. Yeah.
Tell me what those are, if you can.
Sometimes I was like depressed. And then I flip myself up, but I pick myself up though.
Yes, it's because things are out of alignment, like I said. And so, with the pain and the depression, these things are out of alignment. So, we need to, whenever you're bringing in this information, let's slow it down just a little so that you can bring it in a very more positive way. And I'm going to give you a blessing right now. One moment, please.
Thank you.
Dear God, lift her up. Bring this information in the most positive and beautiful way. Take away the pain. Take away the depression. Take away anything negative attached to this information that is coming. And let her expand. Let her become joyful. Let her become intensely happy about the information that's coming. For it is from you, God. So let it happen the way you would want it, not the way we would want it to happen for ourselves, but for the way you would happen. And this means that you are in charge, God, and this means that you will take control. Much love to you and many blessings. And
Thank you.
God is going to make you feel better.
Thank you.
You are welcome.
Thank
Allow
you.
it. You have to allow it. Yes.
Okay.
Go
Thank you
ahead.
so much. Yes, sorry about that. There's a question from Jasmine. Jasmine, do you want to ask?
Greetings,
Yes.
Jasmine.
Hello. My question is, how do we identify if our egos are overly expressed?
Of your meaning that you're bragging?
Yeah, boasting or bragging or defending or wanting to be right.
Yes. You must understand in your prayer, you must pray about that. But first of all, if you are feeling defensive, if you are feeling the need to have someone hear you, or feeling the need that you need attention, that is something that needs to subside because God will give you all the attention you need. You do not need the attention of other people in a boastful way, in a way that is supporting you more than they're supporting anybody else. So you need to feel supported by who you are in your own self, in your own persona. I see that you are an amazing individual. So you don't need to tell people that because they already know it. They already feel you. They already sense your gifts and your great enthusiasm and times. And I don't think that you are bragging sometimes. You're just letting people know that God is with you and that you are rising up. But if they say something to you about it, if they say, oh, you're bragging or you're being too boastful, then do a reevaluation because that is how they're perceiving it. It may be on their end and really not on your end. They may be perceiving it because they're a little jealous or they're feeling that they don't have as many qualities as you do. So you have to just temper it. Make sure that you're understanding where you're coming from. If you're coming from a place of God, then you're good. If you're coming from a place where I need attention, then you have to reevaluate that. But I think that sometimes other people see and are jealous of the positive energies that are within you and the gifts that you have and the things that you have accomplished. So you have to beware that your humility should be in check. And if they see that you're being humble about it, it won't bother them as much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you so much. There is a question from Lilypad. Go ahead, Lilypad.
Greetings.
Thank you. Uh, actually, I think I have two questions.
Yes?
I was recommended to when I meditate to close my portal. That everybody should, and
Close your
everybody
portal.
should close the portal. Is that true? So I'm confused about that. I didn't know when you meditate, you open. Well, I don't know much. Open portals because I guess I hear some voices. But what would you recommend? I'm confused about that.
Yes. Do not
So
worry
when you
about your
meditate,
portals. I would say this.
okay.
Whenever you're praying, meditating, doing anything with God, just protect yourself. You can leave your portholes open because God can use those to bring energy in, some love in, some beauty, all these different things. So you don't have to close your portholes to talk to God or to be in reverence or to have meditation or prayer. Leave your portholes open so he can fill them and make them even greater.
But thank you. Yes, thank you. But but sometimes I hear not only God, I hear bad. Well, I'm not sure if I'm sure. Also, I hear not good things in my mind, and sometimes I get angry. So
When
I
is
don't know
this?
if
When do you hear these things?
well, I hear like especially when I'm in bed sleeping or I'm phone, I hear bad voices. Like I
And what
don't
do you
think
do
that's
about it?
God.
Yes, what do
Sorry,
you do about it when you hear it?
I tell them to go away, or I get up and I don't know, I pray because I want to sleep. I gotta go to work.
Right.
um but yeah, so she told me, my friend, well, this, yeah, she said that I should close the portals, don't let anything in and out. I don't know what that means, but now and then I go kind of scared. I'm like, do I have portals open? Well, I
I,
guess that's why the voices come from, any voice.
this I wouldn't worry about your portals as much as I would worry about what is within you. You need to do some clearing. Um, God needs to work with what's inside. I I I see
Okay.
that there is some negative things coming out through your thoughts, but those are coming from third dimension. And I see that opening your portholes, it has nothing to do with what's happening when you're laying in bed, having negative thoughts. This is something that is being, this is a spiritual attack in some ways, and it has nothing to do with the portholes. They can, whether your portholes are open or closed, negative entities can come if you're not protected. So
Okay.
protect yourself when you go to sleep. Protect yourself at
How?
all times from these negative energies, and do some introspection and know yourself and why these things are coming up, because there's a reason for them. You must clear some of these things out to make room for something positive to come in their place. Now, I know that sounds easier said than done. Absolutely. But I'm not saying that just to be trite. I'm just saying that because I see that there are beings in your world, beings around you that bring negative energies to you. These are some people and some places,
Yes.
people in your work, some people in your life, and they bring the anger and negativity to you, and you just don't know how to deal with it properly, because they're people that you love and care about and work with and all these things. So you have to learn how to not take that in, because they're saying things to you about you that are not true. They're making you feel guilty about who you are. They're making you feel angry about what they're doing and what they're saying. You have to come to terms with who you are, because you're amazing. You're wonderful. You're a caregiver. You're someone that needs to be in a positive frame of mind almost all the time. And that, if they do this to you, it's almost impossible. So I want to give you a blessing about that, because you need to bring in, or I should say, you need to let go of some of these negative thoughts about yourself and about others, because they don't serve you at all. And bring in the truth, which is God loves you. You are talented. You're an amazing person. You just don't see it. They don't want you to see it, but you are. And I say that to most of you out there. Many of you don't see how amazing you really are. You are amazing, and you need to know it, and you need to feel it. And God needs to work in there to get rid of all those negative things that are happening. This is a rough time. This is a day and age of a lot of attacks on the spirit, on the mind, on the humanity as a whole. They don't want you to rise. They want you to fail. And so this is a huge attack on the world in every way, shape, and form. And they will do whatever they can to make you feel negative. So that is why I'm saying this prayer is for you all, including you, Lily Pad. God, lift us up. Lift everyone up in your name, so that they can feel the power of God, know the power of God, and accept the power of God the way it should be in their lives. They are valuable, all of you. You are valuable beyond what you can possibly imagine. You set goals for yourselves here, but God has expectations out here, because he knows that with his help, you can be greater, more amazing, more beautiful, and more wonderful than you ever have been before. And I want everyone to know that. Everyone is limiting themselves. Let God release you. Let God release you and expand you in a very positive way, without pain, without suffering, without depression. Let God build you. And I'm going to say some personal prayers for you, Lily Pad, because I see those outside forces are very strong, aren't they?
Yes, they were. I'm fighting with all of. I feel my alone, like I kind of fighting with all of them. I
They're
can
very
find. I'll
strong,
be
and
honest with you. I pray, but I feel. But I know I'm part of me say that I'm here. I'm strong. I'm telling myself that I'm strong. I can fight all of them, but I think I need help sometimes.
you know, you can't do it alone, Lily Pad. You have to have help, and God is with you, and I am with you, and we will help you. But call on us when those moments come. Call on Uriel, call on God. I know that you do, but let us come in. It's not easy because the world is very strong. They try to overcome you every day, but I will overcome you even in a greater way to build you up, to bring you to light, to make you see how valuable you really are. You have gifts that have not even opened because you don't feel valued. You are very valued, as well as some of the others of you that feel the same way. You are very valued. You just don't feel it. The world doesn't give you that support. You don't feel it, but they should.
Well, I think I think my coworker is my friend. They need help, and there must be a reason they're around me because, well, I know I feel, but the energies they have, whoever is there, I shouldn't run away or anything. I feel like I'm gonna fight until the end until I can. But anyway, I appreciate your words, your
Well, I love you
advice,
very
and your
much.
prayer. Thank you.
I love you very much, and I believe in you. I believe all about you, and I believe you can overcome this with God's help, with my help, and believing how important you really are and how beautiful you really are. You're amazing. You do a lot of amazing work, and you don't even give yourself credit for that. And I love you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so very much. There is a question from Elga. Elga, we also have just 3 more questions in about 15 minutes. So we'll keep it short so we can get the last 3 people. Thank you.
Yes.
Greetings, Uriel.
Greetings.
I only have one question. My question is, would you have a message for me?
I have a message for you and for all. That your message is that you must continue to expand. You are expanding at an amazing rate. You're growing at an amazing rate, as well as some of the other people here. And I want to see that continue. So I know that sometimes it's difficult. The world is not easy around everyone, but I see it's necessary for you to continue to expand as quickly as possible. For there are many great things that you are doing in the astral, many great things you are doing, and ways you are expanding. So continue to do so. I just will help you out with that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. There's a question from Kathy. Go ahead, Kathy.
Hi, Uriel. It's nice for you to speak with us. I have a question about fallen angels, and maybe this was asked before, but I don't know the answer to it. How is it that fallen angels can be someone's guardian angel, and how does that work for both sides? Like, what do they get out of that relationship by a fallen angel becoming that?
First of all, guardian angels and fallen angels are well, first of all, let me say this. All angels have been forgiven, all of them. Every single one of them, God has forgiven, no matter what they've done, no matter where they went, no matter what they're doing. So, as a guardian angel, they're a forgiven angel and they can help other people. even though they have chosen to move away from perfection. That does not make them bad. That does not make them evil. It makes them fallen. That's just the perfect word. And they can rise back up.
Mhm.
God has given them a perfect opportunity to come back in. They just have to accept his forgiveness. And some of them are prideful and do not want to do that. They're ashamed and they do not want to do that. They have done things that they feel like they cannot be forgiven for, and humans feel the same way. Humans feel like they cannot be forgiven for some of their sins, but all sins have been forgiven. All of them. Now you just have to forgive yourself, just as the angels do. But they can be a fallen angel and still a spirit guide because they know who God is. Greater than anyone, they know who God is. For they have been forgiven by him and they know it. So they can give you some very good advice.
I see.
Although they may not follow it themselves.
So what does, so I can see the benefit for the human gaining
Yes.
so much from the knowledge, but what would the benefit for the angel be? Like what do they get out of that relationship?
You mean as being a guide?
Yeah.
They're building back their self-worth. They're building back what they believe is a good side so that they can actually forgive themselves. They're actually bringing some positive energy into their life and livelihood so that they feel worthy to go back to God.
I see. Okay. Thank you. That clears it up a little bit for me.
Very
Thank
well.
you. Many blessings.
Many blessings.
Thank you. And then there's one last question from Michelle. Go ahead, Michelle.
Greetings, dear.
Hi, Uriel. I just have a quick question about, could you comment on this, about there being no space? That's, that sounds so out there to me. But it was said in front of the astronaut Buzz Aldrin that there's no space. Like, where was the person coming from saying that? And is there any truth to it? Thank you.
The reason why he said there's no space is because he believes everything that it exists is an illusion. And so if that is the truth, then there really is no space. There's no material. There really is nothing except a vision from God's mind. That's all there is. This is what he's talking about. No space, no time, no nothing. It's a vision from God's mind that you are living in. It's all holographic. Now, it's all matrix. It's all this. And so there's no space. There's no difference between this place and that place. You can be in the next world in a blink of an eye because it is non-existent. Space doesn't exist. Time doesn't exist. Materialistic things don't exist. So what it is that some people believe that all things exist as a thought from God. And so if that is the case, and if you are able to manipulate that, then you will discover there is nothing you can't do. There is nowhere you can't go, and you can be at the end of the universe in the blink of an eye.
Okay, that really clears it up. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Is it as they said in the Matrix, there is no spoon, I guess?
Yes.
Okay. We have come to the end of our questions, and also we are right at the end of our hours. So Uriel, it's been very wonderful to have you here. And would you leave us with a blessing?
Oh, more blessings. My pleasure. I'm going to do this one in the angelic language, if you don't mind.
Thank you.
Because it's so much more powerful. in the angelic language, and it brings so much more energy because the words are so deep, much deeper, and have greater meaning. All right?
Perfect. Thank you.
Tiria tuturia an Adonai. Kurandiga shashuria, Eliengea wandora tassini. Shefrunda, Kudiarara yoshanzavatu, Ganoti varevunje. Yesa. Sesa suria rendivitietara. Mokwati torien. Ushunjivru. Guardia cheshvrendiati. Maturiata. Tirka, Korias, Shumjivrias. Nendio Jovriv de Babati. Nunduri. Maniasaso Orjivija. Adonai, Korea. Adonai Kirivijovo. Elia Junda, Yeshua Shumdia. Adonai Kuta. Adonai Kuriapas. Monama Shanjivriati Yasundu. Kuriashiatas. May all of you be blessed. May all of you be lifted up by God. May all of you be part of all there is in the outside realms and inside realms. For God has chosen you all for some reason, for some mission, for some thought process. God is with you. God is part of you. God is speaking to you. Let it all be known. There are many different religions here and many belief systems, but they all come back to God. They all come back to God, and they are all part of his personality, all facets of who he is, and all facets of what is in the universe. Bless you now. God be with you. God represent you. Send him out before you as yourself, as a being, because he is within you and he is part of your creative nature. He is part of the words you speak, the things you write, the healing that you give, the understanding that you will give out to others, the vision, the example that is you. All is part of God. Rise up, people, for this is an age that needs a bright light, and it has none. It really has none. You may say this one is a bright light, or that one is a bright light, or this one, but it's all you'll see, a very dim light compared to what God has to represent. Let God represent you. Look into the faces of those that you think are a bright light. Listen to exactly what they have to say, and then let God tell you who they really are. Because if they are not a bright light, then you are following something that is not right. Find in yourself the truth. Do not let everybody else tell you what the truth is, because that is not right. You must find it for yourself. If anyone gives you truth, evaluate it. Find out for sure if it's the truth. Don't accept it blindly, but know in your heart that it is true. Ask God if it is true. Be vigilant in this age, my children, for it is a day and age of deception. But God will lead you out of it. Fly high. Listen to God. Know him as God. Know him as light. Know him as truth. Let everything else fall away. Much love to you, my children. Hello?
Hello. Thank you so very much. Yeah, what a wonderful session today.
Oh, good. Thanks.
Good. So we are right at the top of the hour. So if Angie wants to give another announcement just before we go, we'll close with that.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, we have Jim and I are going to start scheduling the classes. What we're looking at for classes are Galactic Energy Healing, White Magic, levels 1 and level 2, and a channeling class. If you could please email me at classes@hucolo.org and I will get in touch with you. I am going to go ahead and have them get this information on the Hucolo website and so that it's also easily accessible there. Okay. When we get the dates set up, we'll put the dates on, but we're going to put, I do want to get on there what we are interested in getting out to the people.
Also, we haven't put any price tags on it yet because that's up for, we have a discussion about that. Also, what was I going to say? Oh, the channeling class. There has been some requests for the channeling class for a while now. So if you really are interested in that, that's one that I haven't done in a long time. And it's one that's actually starting to get some interest. So if you want any of these classes, let us know. Let Angie know.
Classes at
time, Angie.
classes@hucolo.org.
All right.
All right. Great. So next week we have Tyler Ellison will be here. So it would be nice to welcome him back after a little while. And yeah, and we'll see you again, Jim, in 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
2 weeks. All right. Very good.
All right, everyone. Remain healthy. Please like and subscribe. If you would like to join us here in the room, all of you peoples out there in YouTube land, you can go to hucolo.org/webinars and you can become a member of Club Hucolo for just $10 a month. So please help support us and we will see everybody next week. Much love to everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Much love. Thank you.